And welcome to Chapter 2. The Enchanted Forest awaits us.
We part ways, he and I. My instincts tell me he is filled with hope, a hope that will drive him ever onwards. Good. Perhaps he is the one, a warrior of pure heart who can deliver us from all evil. Perhaps. I wonder what went through his mind when he saw her there, his beloved. Did he see his dreams, or did he see his future blown away like leaves on the wind? I spy him as he heads out towards the reaches of Pan's influence. A forest lies to the east that leads to the land of the lichens. The ruin of an ancient civilization is there, forgotten and decaying. Once a proud testament to man's ingenuity and vision, it has now been conquered by nature, as she claims all things for her own.
Ooh.
So, continuing with the storybook theme, one thing I haven't really shown off yet is that when you go into the pause screen, there's actually a little sentence underneath each portrait, and it changes depending on your mission objective.
Oh, that's cool.
So right now, we're just going into this ancient civilization.
Wonderful little touches in this game.
Yeah, that really is like the game's biggest strength, even more than the combat, is the ridiculous attention to detail.
In fact, I'll call something out. The next time you see a load bar, notice that it changes when you upgrade the whip.
Yeah, that's something that I've beaten this game already, and this is my second playthrough. I never noticed that.
It's cool. You remember when Konami cared about their games?
So this is a guy who gave his life gem to another member of the Brotherhood, and he appears to be regretting his decision.
I hope the life gem wasn't given in vain. We'll find the other guy up the road, I'm sure.
So this whole area now has an autumn setting.
Well, the water effects are pretty good.
This waterfall, of course, there's going to be something behind it. Okay, let's try to open this door. Stop ruining your game. I have to censor that.
Castlevania is trying to spoil Castlevania for me.
Alright, so I stopped here to get some upgrades. We're going to get upgrades related to the hook tip, which was that Gandolfi upgrade that we got earlier. So we're going to get the air grab, which allows us to snatch enemies out of the air.
Sweet.
And then we're going to get a follow-up to the air grab. That's the downward punch. Unfortunately, I completely forget that in the tutorial immediately following this, you're not allowed to use those. But we'll be seeing those moves a little later on in this video, just not immediately. So Zobek gave us a special medallion, and that's actually going to do something for us.
Neutral element orbs?
That's an introduction to this game's magic system.
Oh.
So the medallion that Zobek gave us gives us light magic.
What?
Light magic is basically the one version of Devil Trigger in this game. It's health based. So you do slightly less damage, but you gain health with every hit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, like with the first level, this whole tutorial section, it goes away when you replay this level.
Okay, so you don't have to suffer through the game's condescension more than once.
Yeah.
You just do what it says and you're done with it.
And the sentence changed. Now that the mission objective is different.
Very cool.
So, like there are health fonts, these are neutral orb fonts. And if you pay attention here, we can actually overcharge our magic supply, and that will temporarily allow us more magic.
So it's not a hard cap on how much you can pick up. It's more like a soft cap.
Yeah, it's double. It's double whatever your supply is, and then the double amount slowly drains. Yep. So there's the air grab. Lycans can be pretty hard to fight if you're not paying attention, especially when they're running at you, because their default attack is that sort of lunging swipe, which can be difficult to read in the wrong situation.
I got to give them credit. The depth of mechanics in this is very good.
I mean, these are the basics. We haven't really gotten into the
really deep stuff
yet. Yeah. So we're gonna take the right path here, because there's collectibles over here. So we're fighting goblins, but we're fighting them in water, and that's important because if they throw their grenades, they will diffuse in the water, like right there.
Interesting.
Their grenades are still dangerous, though. For instance, they can still detonate in midair and stuff like that. It's just that if they throw them on the ground, they instantly become duds. I also try to be really cool and parry. It does not work out.
Nope, that was a grenade to the face.
You can't get everything you want out of your takes. I'm not Chip Cheesem. This is not going to be a perfect LP. I'm gonna have to settle for a B+. And over here, we're going to use the hook tip to bring down this tree so that we can swing over it. For whatever reason, the prompt for that QTE is really finicky. Like, you have to be standing at exactly the right place. Otherwise, Gabriel will just be, grabbing in the air like an idiot.
This is... I'm getting kind of a Breath of the Wild vibe out of some of the architecture. I mean, I know this game came out first, but it's very, very cool and very run down.
Yeah, this game's architecture is really good. So, Cardinal Volpe. That's a name that you'll have to remember for a little later in the game, as well as when we do the second game in the series, Mirror of Fate. He's a significant character at the start of that game.
So recurring elements.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the feeling that this game was inspired by... Oh, that's the other path we could have taken. This game is more inspired by sort of contemporary late 20th century fantasy, stuff like Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, the Lord of the Rings adaptations like both Peter Jackson and the Ralph Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings.
With music by Leonard Nimoy.
More so like the old Castlevanias were inspired by like Hammer Horror and the Universal Monsters, that kind of thing, and Gothic anime as well.
Sure. Which is cool, but this is a little more... this is less claustrophobic and more sweeping than the classic Castlevanias are.
Yeah. So the combat focus, this is this game's version of the style meter. Basically, as long as you keep doing unbroken attacks against an enemy, you will be rewarded with more neutral orbs.
I'd like to remind everyone, we're on Chapter 3, and the game is still giving us what every other game would consider introductory stuff that's from, like, the first chapter.
Yeah, it does kind of run out of steam in terms of introducing mechanics towards the latter half of the game, but it makes up for it in terms of level design variety and puzzles. Yeah, so you can see on the bottom of the screen there, when those two halves meet, you will get, I think it's like 1 or 2 neutral orbs after every hit. Thankfully, you don't actually get hit during that QT with the warg, so it doesn't count. There are some QT struggles against certain enemies that do a little bit of damage every time you start them. So you don't always get so lucky. But against the warg, it's fine.
That's a cool mechanic. It's not just, rank and points like Devil May Cry. It's actually worth something immediate to combat.
I do wish, though, that there was something resembling a combo meter or stall meter as well, but can't have them all, I guess. Oh, we also blew up that door with goblin grenades. That's something the game does a lot as well, similar to how we uprooted that tree last video. Sorry, 2 videos ago. Sorry, I just temporarily paused the video there. That was that little blip. So here's what I was talking about. That default attack is the swipe, and it overrides your air grab as well, which can be pretty annoying.
Yeah, that's the bum rushes. Well, let's be honest. Enemies that bum rush are bullshit. Yeah.
It's easy to it's easy to parry when you're standing still. But if you're moving while the Lycan is swiping, it can be pretty difficult. Also, I'll talk a bit later about how sub-weapons are affected by magic, but as you can see there, it kind of did a little extra damage and also recovered health at the same time when I threw the dagger. Anyway, this scroll introduces the tree that we're about to enter. It's not the Deku tree, it's the Deka tree. Very different.
It's the Deku tree's cousin.
Apparently it's been cursed by some dark spell that's keeping it in a state of near death, but not quite.
Tree is on life support.
On forced life support, has no say in the matter. It's an ethical dilemma I'm not going to get into, except when it comes to trees, in which case I'm very much against it. Do not keep your trees on life support.
We are the Husqvarna that is coming to fix this problem.
Alright, so here's the normal way that you're supposed to exit this level. However, I'm also going to show the secret speedrunning technique. Thank you to Findlestick for coming up with this one. Because if you manage to time it right, you can climb on the geometry here with a couple of very complicated and precise jumps. I'm not doing it right here, but you can do it quickly. And then you can just sort of climb up to the tree and end the level right there.
And hit the trigger.
Yep. It's a very wide trigger. Alright, next level.
He is becoming stronger with every step he takes. His prowess in battle is undeniable. He will need it now. Goblins are one thing, but there are other creatures in the dark places of the world, creatures who know nothing of his plight, but fight for their very survival. Many fallen brothers are testament to this. Indeed, their bleached bones adorn the tortuous tunnels in this god-forsaken place. He runs ever onward into peril. I wonder who the prey is, and who is the hunted. Perhaps when the time comes, these creatures will know fear as they look into the eye of their quarry. Go, my friend, save your love.
My wife is still dead!
Oh my god, it's 2 normal levels in a row. Who are you and what have you done with Lords of Shadow? I really like this level. Sort of. I mean, it can be annoying at parts, but it's... Well, you'll see. Wait a minute, you're not Strugs! So spiders can be real pains to fight, especially at this point of recording when I wasn't really used to fighting them yet. So spiders have, as you can imagine, they have a poison attack, and you need to use light magic to counter it. Otherwise, it will keep draining your HP. Although one of their venom attacks, not all of them, but one of them is parryable. Also, they can trap you in a web. You have to mash buttons to get out of it, and you have to be really precise. You have to be really fast to get out of it. Otherwise, they'll poison you.
It'll follow up. Yeah. This really is the deadly creature spider too.
Yeah,
like
it is. So one thing I haven't really mentioned until now, there actually is a kind of a specific rule, is that if you keep attacking enemies when they're blocking, they're almost always guaranteed to counter with an unblockable attack.
Huh.
So you can, if you're clever enough, you can kind of cheese it so that you can roll away to specific areas if you know, or you can accurately guess which unblockable attack is coming after an enemy has been sufficiently blocking your attacks for a while.
So it's very much chess game combat.
Yeah.
Splat.
Now we get to a pretty annoying fight. I'm clearing out as many lichens as I can because a spider's about to join them. And fighting a spider with a bunch of enemies is not fun. Although it does at least give you more neutral orbs to replenish your magic.
Now, do the orbs time out and disappear? Or
yes,
can you just
but it
pick them
takes
up?
a while.
Okay. All right.
I think it takes about like 15 seconds, maybe. More than enough time for you to collect them, unless you're in like the middle of a combo, say. And for some reason, my computer just decided to completely crap itself during that one specific part. I don't know why. The FPS dipped to like 20 there.
Too many god rays. I count like one, but
yeah. Oh, that's another thing I should point out for when you're playing the PC version. You should probably use a frame limiter, because depending on what video card you have, if you go like above 80 or 90 frames per second, it could really cause a lot of heat on your GPU. I've been playing with a frame limiter on 60, and it runs pretty smooth. So unless you have like a Titan or some other really high-end PC, I would suggest using like Bandicam or Dxtory or some other kind of frame limiter to make sure that it caps out at 60.
More scrolls.
So this one is talking about a potential gameplay mechanic we might be seeing later.
Ride a spider?
Yep. Well, when the spiders are this big, I guess, what else are you going to do with them?
I mean, underground rodeos. Yeah, okay. let's do it.
This is the Calgary Stampede. Instead of Broncos, you try to buck spiders. Speaking of,
hey, more spiders.
Yeah, this fight does not go anywhere near as well as previous ones. Not to say that the other ones were already good either. I keep breaking boxes, even though I should know at this point that boxes will only give you sub-weapon ammunition. And I'm already maxed out on daggers.
The struggle is real.
I just love that 3-punch combo that Gabriel does at the end there against the spider.
I know I use the phrase spectacle combat, but you're punching a spider.
Yeah. Repeatedly, in the face. And then using a cross to parry a venom attack like it's nothing. Ouch. So there is a cap on how much HP the poison attacks will do. I don't know the exact numbers, but it will eventually drain by itself if left alone.
Can it kill you?
I don't remember. I think it brings your HP to 1, but I'll have to check that. It's possible it might.
Oh, we getting some moves?
Yep. We're going to buy the area counter strike. This is one of the special moves that you can get after performing a perfect parry, or what the game calls a synchronized block. That looks important. We should keep it.
A runic stone key.
Yep.
I will keep it on my runic stone ring.
I prefer a runic stone Rolodex.
Just file that for later.
So we got to find the other key. And I've already routed out this level already, so we'll go over here to find the other key.
Okay, the web tightropes.
There are so many of these precarious ledge sections, but the ones with the spider webs in particular I'm not a fan of. I mean, look at how close I am on this ledge here.
It's a little Mirror's Edge balancing it. Yeah. It looks cool.
Not that fun to control, though.
No.
This is a Brotherhood Knight just hoping that he doesn't become an audio log one day. Well, sorry to tell you, buddy. You became an audio log.
Wish I could be an audio log in a BioShock game.
So for some reason I forgot that this next section there's a door you have to break open with goblin grenades, but I forget that the enemies won't trigger until you actually investigate the door.
Oh.
Damn scripted events. And I keep trying to pick up grenades here, and there's a section where I'll just try, I've tried like 2 or 3 times in a row, and it keeps grabbing a goblin instead of a grenade. But yeah, the key is behind this door.
Ah.
And then I turn around, and suddenly there's a spider. I'm like, nope, I've got to get out of here. Fuck this.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right, let's see what's behind this door, shall we?
It's a new car!
That you still have to pay taxes on.
Ah, no, fuck it. More spider webs.
It's a really dusty new car. Yep, it's a spike chain we saw that Knight talking about earlier. It's another of Gandolfi's creations.
Gandolfi is a sick genius in this universe.
Yep, and he's not the only one. We'll be meeting another sick genius later. So over here is the level exit, where we can use the spike chain, but we're going to backtrack first. Is there something else we need the spike chain for? So, unfortunately I left this part in. I'm not entirely sure why. I think I was trying to establish where this part is in relation to the rest of the level. Because it is a potential, like, another path that you can take. Because this is more like a labyrinth sort of level design.
Lots of branches, lots of large areas.
Almost like a tree.
Almost like a tree. Almost like the Deku tree. Deku tree.
Deku tree. We don't want to get sued by Nintendo.
We are not getting sued.
This is what happens with the spike chain.
It's just like pull starting a chainsaw.
Yeah, pretty much. And in here, I think it's a life. No, it's a light magic gem. Anyway, we're gonna go back to the start of the level.
And we out.
We're almost out.
To rev up the exit.
Very slowly walking towards the exit. I was trying to time this. I'd forgotten exactly where the level trigger was. Alright, now we're out. Yay!
Ah!
Gabriel is out. Him and all of his 100 XP.
Man, if it's over 40 or under 30, my level just doesn't exit.
Alright, next time we will be visiting the entrance to the labyrinth. Yeah, this update and the update right after this are very, they're very gameplay heavy. There's not going to be too much story until video 5.
Well, we have the labyrinth to look forward to, and I love David Bowie.
Yeah, that's another film that probably inspired this game's look. There's a lot of
It does. It's got a bit of a Jim Henson fantasy movie vibe to it.
Yeah, especially with Pan. Like that, if that guy's not a Muppet, I don't know who is.